All right, guys, on the build show today, we're talking about a farmhouse built here in Texas that uses a Pennsylvania style. But what you're going to see here is actually not one of my videos. This is a video that Brent Hull produced and was originally published on thebuildshow.com. If you don't know Brent Hull, he is a classically trained carpenter who actually went to school at this famous North Bennett Street School in Boston. From Texas, lives in Fort Worth. He has a fabulous business in Fort Worth, both restoring old houses that are gorgeous, bringing them back to modern beauty, and also building brand new houses like this one you're about to see that have the soul of an old house that people walk up to and go, oh my gosh, what a gorgeous restoration you did. And yet these are brand new houses. So I'm going to introduce you to Brent Hull with this video. This is a Tuesday best of video. If you want to see more of Brent, go over to thebuildshow.com. Otherwise, let's get going on Brent's video.
Hi, I'm Brent Hull with The Build Show today. You know, the farmhouse style is really popular, right? You see the modern farmhouse, you see a traditional farmhouse, all different kinds of things. How do you make it right? You know, how do you get the details right? Today I want to show you Pennsylvania farmhouse that we're doing for a client, where we've really introduced some fun details into the house that give it a story and give it a narrative of what I'll call it, right? This house was designed to have grown up over time, okay? This big space, this big building in the back is the barn that is now the garage, okay? And what you're going to see as this house comes together is that there are little L's, there's little transitions and spaces that give this house the feel that it was 200 years old, and every other generation they added on a new piece. And so, for instance, on this wall right here, what we've done is we got two windows, and then you see the blank out or the cutout for the second window, where we purposefully left this mortar line on the outside to kind of show that, you know, later when they added a garage, a closet or a bathroom, that got closed in, right? And so it's not something you notice when you walk up to the house, but it's this kind of layering of detail that kind of gives it some fun. It makes it more fun, it makes it more interesting. The stonework on the side, okay, stonework on a Pennsylvania farmhouse was really important. When they were built, okay, this coining on the outside, okay, was done to lock the house together. So we've introduced these kind of coin pieces, these coin details, along with the rubble, infill, fieldstone kind of look, so that it just communicates more authenticity. And that's really what we're trying to go for, right? That it looks like it's 200 years old, even though this is a new build. So I just want to show you a few other details that I think matter, right, for a farmhouse like this, that really kind of help communicate the right details. One, we've got a great wood porch, right, with the 3.5-inch wide wood planks, beautiful beadboard ceiling within the stone. This is a very safe entry, right? It's a fun deal. We've got an interesting door here. It's kind of like, why is that door here? The front door is clearly over by this other side. Again, we're trying to create this timeline and this narrative that as things changed, as they added this piece on, we have these other doors that are kind of interesting elements and interesting details. The windows are maybe the most important thing when you're working on an old house. What we did in this case is the Pennsylvania tradition is to have a timber framed window, okay, that would have supported the stone above, that would have been built out, right? So on your windows here, you'll notice there's not a stone header over top of those windows. Instead, there's a timbered opening made from the window, okay? So that's what this heavy beamwork is here. It's huge, it's massive. Our windowsill, okay? First of all, the wood is the most important element. So if you don't get the wood right, it will rot out. We're using quarter sawn white oak, okay? These are oak beams that are great, long-lasting materials. And then we've mortised our weight pockets into these things. So they're a traditional window. We've got putty glazing on these things. These are made to look like they're 200 years old, but this house isn't even a year old, right? Front door, very important. We've got that cross panel at the bottom. It's a Dutch door, right? So that you've got an upper top and a bottom that can open and close, kind of part of that farmhouse tradition. Let me show you inside. I got a few more details. Here's that Dutch door I was talking about, right? You can lock the bottom, open the top, and then the top opens up. You know, it goes back to that tradition with the farm. You had the lower door. You didn't want the animals walking into the house, but you still needed the air and the breeze coming through, right? So what a great fun detail, right? To have this Dutch door that actually works like this and communicates that story. When you get in the entry hall, I think this beautiful staircase really kind of helps communicate the hierarchy of the home, right? That this house may have been a very simple barn farmhouse, but now we've got a very elegant entry now. Got this horizontal pine siding that's really thick and wide. Staircase that looks like it's from the 1820s, 1840s. Again, elements like this kind of communicate age and communicate kind of style. Notice on this door here, it's a very thin door, okay? It's 1 inch thick. Typical doors from the 50s, 60s, 70s would be a very thin door. So again, just another subtle layering that kind of helps out. As you come into this family room, which is one of my favorite spaces, you see this beautiful fireplace. And so what you would have had in this period is to have kind of this very important fireplace that communicates kind of where you are, right? That we're in an important space. This is where the family would have spent a lot of time, and this mantle and fireplace are really important. What you're seeing is this transition of spaces, and even this wide entry, like there's originally stone or brick behind here, is why this is a wide cased opening. Now we're in the kitchen, okay? We're changing time frames. Remember that entry hall looked like it was 1820s, 1840s. Now we're in the 1940s, right? 1930s, something like that, where we've got this traditional kitchen that's been added on to the house. Now, kitchens became kind of modern appliances, modern rooms starting in about the 1920s, right? And so it'd be appropriate that a house might get that addition in this period. All our cabinet doors are inset. Now remember that the overlay cabinet door is a post-World War II invention, okay? They're called European hinges because they were invented in Europe to help with the rebuilding of Europe after World War II, right? They had to create a faster way to build cabinets, and so that European hinge that could overlay the top of the cabinet became something that was a new invention. Now, most of the cabinets that are built today have the European hinges. We go back with the traditional hinge where the doors are inset into the cabinet, okay? It's a simple door. It's about a 1 inch thick door. We've got mortise butt hinges, okay? Period kitchens before the 1940s were almost more pieces of furniture. And that's what this is, right? When you have your door inset in your frame like that, it becomes more like a piece of furniture. So it's a more refined look. The other thing I really love about our cabinets is we've got this catch system that basically, there's your slow close, and right here is a magnet, okay? We've got another magnet right here on the door. But you'll notice as I close this thing, it catches and then it just slowly closes, right? It's much better than the metal latches that clang or that pop, that make too much noise. This is a very refined, simple way for that door just to close and then suck shut. This kind of big farm sink here that's looking out over the kitchen, typically in these period kitchens, your sink would be over a window. So this is kind of that period detail. You notice that it's kind of built in here. This light that's covered up now kind of communicates that period. And then you may have seen this in old houses where the doors underneath the sink were vented, okay? Again, it's a subtle detail. It's not the first thing you notice, but there's this layering of detail that makes the house more enjoyable. You come in here the third or fourth time, oh, I never noticed that before. It creates a more beautiful house. It creates a more refined house that has really been thought through really well. So this is one of my favorite spaces because it really communicates the story that we're trying to communicate with this house, that it's been built in layers over time, that it's been connected to, that there were separate parts and it was added on, right? This shiplap, in my mind, reminds you kind of where you are, reminds of what's going on. We found some longleaf pine shiplap, milled the shiplap groove onto it and really transform this space, right? You immediately know when you're standing in here that you're in not only a transitioning space, but kind of a lower level space. You see that with the moldings. This is just a simple molding with a bead on it. If you look in other parts of the house, you'll see moldings with the back band, right? This kind of elevation of detail. We've got this old window that kind of a leftover from the barn that was kind of in this space that was reused here. We've got this craft room on this side, so it's kind of a workspace area. But this is actually one of my favorite rooms because it has such character. It has such detailing that it makes it interesting, right? And that's what's fun about this house and this farmhouse style, is that you should have interesting spaces like this. You should have areas where you're like, oh yeah, I'm in a farmhouse, right? Which is what I love. So stay tuned for more videos about this farmhouse. We'll have more things on the build show. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Guys, I visited this house a couple years ago. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. But Brent is literally sharing absolute fabulous craftsmanship wisdom with you every single week on thebuildshow.com. He's one of my OG contributors that we launched the website with in 2020. And if you don't know, we actually have 14 total contributors now all across the country, like Brent, shooting videos in their job site, showing you the behind the scenes on both craftsmanship and high performance. And you should absolutely be following Brent. You know, Brent actually has two social accounts because he runs a full construction company, restoration company. He also owns a millwork shop that's producing his 100-year window like you saw in the video today. So you should go follow him on social. Go check out his videos on thebuildshow.com. And lastly, if you're not already a newsletter subscriber, click that link below. Every Tuesday and every Friday, my team will send you an email saying, here's what's new from Brent Hull, from Steve Basic, from Jake Bruton, from all these contributors, so you know what's new on thebuildshow.com. Guys, with that being said, click the subscribe button below. New content here every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on The Build Show.